Hello and welcome to talking about books I read. We've got to catch up. I have 4 books to catch up on, and we're going to do it in one chunk. Admittedly, 2 of them are manga, but you know what? As I've said before, if it's been made with love and I took a while to read it, then, you know, it counts. It counts! So let's start with number 1. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the absolute OG, widely thought of as history's first science fiction novel. And I was just so curious to read it. I used Halloween kind of as an excuse to read it, because I've just been wanting to for a while. I know Dracula was the obvious choice when it came to Halloween, but no. Frankie. I wanted the first science fiction novel written by a lady. I'm proud of that. I'm just proud that my gender did that. Look, my gender did a thing. Anyway, so what impressed me the most about Frankenstein is how well it translated just to a modern audience. There were times that people who weren't English speaking in my chat were listening to me, and I had to maybe translate it a little bit into simpler language. However, for the most part, people did manage to go through, and like I said, the only barrier is if maybe English isn't your first language, which makes it a bit more difficult to translate some of the fluffier and fancier words that have absolutely fallen out of our lexicon since. And the only downside is that maybe this isn't a book to be read out loud. It's a wonderful book, do not get me wrong, and I had so much fun reading it. The twists, the turns, the impassioned speeches. But because the grammar back then, the rules of grammar were slightly different, and I kept trying to modernize it in my head as I was reading it, which made me fall over speaking a lot. It was really fun. I highly recommend it. If you want to just get a bit of history, and you have a decent reading language when it comes to English, I would highly recommend Frankenstein. If you're a bookish person who maybe just hasn't gotten round to this particular classic yet, do it. The second book. So I read a lot of this one before the new year, and I think I just about finished it before the new year, if not just after, was the third and currently final. I don't know if there's plans for any more books. Purple Door District book, A Game of Fae. Purple Door District is an urban fantasy. Originally set in Chicago, but this one is also in Wisconsin too. I only know Wisconsin because of cheese. I have no idea what else it might be famous for. Chicago, however, I know has pizza and is very windy. In this book, we just have the finale of everything that's happened, the bad situations that people were put in. We finally get to see them try to get their way out. We get some explanations as to why things are the way they are. And I don't really want to go into too much because it is the third book, and at least the final book of that arc that it's set up. Whether it's the final book in the series, I have no idea. I kind of hope it's not, but at the same time, there are a lot of characters to keep track of in these books. And it can get a bit difficult because you hop between them all the time. There's maybe 4 or 5 point of view characters in this book, so it can be a bit difficult. And you hop between each person's situation a lot. However, my best recommendation about these books at the moment is one of the best redemption arcs I've seen in a long time, one of the best in Zuko. There's a character in the first book I absolutely hated, and by this book I cried when bad things happened to her, because she's a good one. She's actually a good one, and I just didn't know yet. So that's Purple Door District and why you should read it. It's a good series. I believe I read the first half of the first book on this channel, so you can go dig out the vaults for that if you wish for a little preview of what you're in for. The third thing I read, so we're into the mangas now. I read 2 mangas recently. The first one was the first volume of Karnival. This was good. I have watched the anime to Karnival, but it was so long ago I didn't really remember all of it. I just remembered there's a cute white-haired boy who's just a silly Billy cinnamon roll. And that was all I remembered. And that's what I got! He's a silly Billy cinnamon roll, and he got an edgy friend to look after him. I love his dynamic, Nye and Garaki's dynamic. Garrick is like, I'm just so tough and I'm so tough and nothing can ever bother me. And Nai's like, I am cute. And he's like, I guess you are. I need to protect. Goddamn. He don't want to protect, but Nai's just like, I'm cute. And then he's like, goddamn it, I have to protect. The rest is interesting. The whole like circus organization is pretty wild. And the little sheep things. Anime back then was so wild sometimes, wasn't it? It's like, here's a weird mascot thing. We're never going to explain it. Oh, it's a security system? Why does it look like a sheep? No, we're never going to explain it. We just wanted a marketable plush. Every series had to have a marketable plush somewhere or other. Bleach had Cone. What did Naruto have now I think about it? Was it the Froggy Purse? Was Naruto's Froggy Purse the marketable plush of that series? Maybe. If someone remembers what that is for me, let me know. I believe One Piece's would be Chomper. Then you had Fairy Tail and Happy. Everything needs a marketable plush. The main characters aren't enough. Well, they are now. I see more plushes of main characters than I do marketable mascots nowadays. But that was then. And this is now. And now we move on to the next book. And I read Magical Girl Incident, in which a salaryman who wanted to be like a Power Ranger and stuff when he grew up, kind of grew past that point and became a wage slave, and was like, oh, my life, I guess that's it. But then he sees a kid in trouble, and he takes off his tie, and he runs to help them. And he turned into a magical girl. Not the hero he wanted, but the hero we needed. It's very interesting. It's setting up some strange dynamics between him and his magical girl form, in that he's like feels different in it, like he is a different person. It's not quite him, but it is kind of him. So I'm curious on where it's going to elaborate. A lot of this first volume was intro, him kind of getting used to what he can do. His bestie being a very rich bestie and supporting and the dynamics of like how the monsters are created in that world and setting up a villain. So I'm hoping in the next one we can get a little bit more info. A lot of this volume is mainly just setup. But nothing put me off on getting the next volume. In fact, I nearly bought it over the weekend, but unfortunately there was a 3 for 2 for 3. What? No, wait. 3 for 2. 3 for 2 deal on at one of the manga shops, and it was there, but I couldn't find a third volume to buy. Because I'm not someone who just buys things for the sake of it. I want to buy it because I know I'm going to read it, and I couldn't find a third volume, so I had to put it back. Because I couldn't just buy 2, because I needed the Black Butler volume 2. But that is all. That is 4 things that I have managed to read in December and January so far. I imagine there'll be more videos like these coming up soon. But for now, thank you for listening to me rant. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe and like. Goodbye!